She claims as a child she was given to an alleged cult leader.
Everything that a wife would do, we had to do for him.
And says her father knew what was going on.
It made sense to you to turn your 13-year-old child over to this creep?
I didn't know all those other things were happening.
In statements to the police, you said, I knew he was having sex with my daughter, but I didn't want to be an outcast.
I would never have done that.
Can dad and daughter,
You still don't own this, do you?
overcome their past?
When you were into your 20s, you didn't know what was happening, and nobody had
Are you
anything.
trying to blame me? It always feels like you're trying to blame me for what happened.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Hey, guys. Okay, take a look at Lindsay in this video. She's laughing, playing, having a good time with her family. But just a few years later, at the young age of 13, she says her life would take a tragic turn and she would become a maiden. A maiden. And when I say maiden, you have no idea what that is going to lead to, because this man right here was a leader of a religious organization. His name is Victor Bernard, and she was one of 10 maidens that was in a religious sect called River Road Fellowship. Take a look.
The search is on for the former leader of River Road Fellowship in rural Pine County.
He's a former minister from Pine County, Minnesota, who reportedly led a cult. It kept a group of girls as concubines.
52-year-old Victor Barnard is charged with 59 counts of criminal sexual conduct.
According to investigators, Barnard began having sex with girls as young as 13, telling them he represented God's flesh, that it was okay and not to tell anyone.
Was able to use, spiritual coercion, spiritual intimidation, and he took advantage of that.
After 12 years of abuse, one of the girls told her story to investigators. Victor Barnard fled the camp with some of his religious followers and with police in pursuit.
Washington State Patrol is searching for the former leader of a Minnesota religious cult. After leaving Minnesota, Bernard's last known location was near Spokane, Washington.
A nationwide search has been underway for Barnard since April. The Washington State Patrol says they received a tip yesterday that Barnard was at a McDonald's in Raymond near the Washington coast.
Well, Lindsay says Victor called for all firstborn girls to be sacrificed unto God and move into his compound, Shepherd's Camp, where they would be on rotation to perform wifely duties for him.
When we first moved to the Shepherd's Camp, there were about 80 people living on the grounds. Victor gave a teaching to the church that in the Bible, the firstborn children were to be sacrificed to God. Victor listed off 10 girls' names that he wanted as maidens. And I was selected as one of the 10 maidens. I was 13 at the time. All of us girls lived together in one house. 2 girls would be assigned to assist Victor, and we'd be on rotation. We would go in to wake him up in the morning and hand him his towel after he showered. We did all the sewing, cooking, cleaning, gave him massages, cut his hair. We even cut his toenails. Everything that a wife would do, we had to do for him.
Well, in this case, everything a wife would do included being intimate even at 13 years of age.
Victor had a ceremony with the 10 maidens, and all of our parents were there. He had us all wear veils over our foreheads, and he gave us rings to wear on our ring fingers. He would dip his finger in a dish of salt and then put it on our tongue, and then he would put salt on his tongue. And it was signifying that we were spiritually married to Victor. My parents witnessed the salt ceremony. It was clear to me at that moment that my parents weren't going to stop it. Victor brought me to the lodge when I was 13. He proceeded to tell me that because he was Christ in the flesh, his way of showing God's love to me was to sexually take care of me, and that it would be natural and spiritual, and that even though I would have sex with him, I could remain a virgin. I remember feeling very scared. I didn't want to do anything to make him mad because I didn't want to be hit again. Throughout all of this, I was convinced by Victor that I was blessed by God and chosen, and somehow this was right in his eyes. In the beginning, he would have sex with me, sometimes at 5 times a month. There were times when Victor would have sex with me and he would get mad at me because he said I wasn't being passionate enough with him. And it kind of became to the point where if we were doing well in his eyes spiritually, that's when he would have sex with us. I was trapped in a religious group and kept as a sexual maiden by Victor Bernard for 9 years.
Well, Lindsay, I'm glad to meet you now under this circumstance where you're here and not still in that situation, which you certainly could be and others still are, correct?
Yes.
Including some of your family members.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the fact that they're still in his clutches?
It saddens me. It makes me very upset. It worries me. I miss them.
You talked about this salt ceremony, where this was essentially a wedding ceremony, correct?
Right, yes.
And your parents were there. Your father stood in that ceremony.
Yes, my mom and dad were both there.
And what did you think at the time?
At the time, I was very confused on why they had allowed all this to happen. I had been crying myself to sleep at night because I missed them so much. I couldn't believe that my dad and mom had agreed to let me stay with Victor after he told them that he may or may not have sex with me.
You said before this ceremony, he met with your parents and had the clergy with him. And you said, I was 14 and Victor told the parents that he may or may not have sex with us, and went through the different verses of the Bible to prove that it was okay.
He said that Jesus Christ had Mary Magdalene and other women, and the Apostle Paul had Phoebe and other women when he went into Asia, and that it would be spiritual and natural for him to take care of me in that way.
Why do you think that your father didn't say, wait a minute, you may or may not, you're not going to have sex with my 14-year-old child?
I think my dad was maybe afraid. He was a coward. I don't understand how he couldn't protect me, how he could just let something like that happen.
But he did. And you believe he knew it?
Oh, yes, I believe he knew.
Yeah. Well, Lindsay has not seen her father, Carmen, in a year. And we're going to find out why. He says he believed that Lindsay was actually blessed to live at Shepherd's Camp with the alleged cult leader, Victor Bernard, because the father is here and he wants to talk about this. We'll be right back.
The Maidens were these young girls in service to the church. Lindsay was one of the youngest. That was considered a privilege for her and for us. I had no indication that she was in danger at all.
And later,
I was a child. You and Mom allowed it to happen.
Into your 20s, you didn't know it was happening.
Are you trying to blame me?
I'm not blaming you on anything.
Well, that's what it sounds like. That's what it feels like. It always feels like you're trying to blame me for what happened.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. Caught in a love triangle.
Do you feel guilt for cheating on your wife?
I don't consider it cheating.
For the first time, the two women meet.
You keep taking him out. That's stupid. Here you go. All yours.
Which one should he choose?
He wants me to decide.
I don't know what you think is so funny.
They're laughing because your narcissistic, self-serving bull is more than they can take.
That's tomorrow.
They say diamonds are a girl's best friend, but would you buy one that was made in a lab?
It's a brand new technology that nobody knows about and that everyone needs to know about.
Beautiful diamonds, perfect cuts, stunning colors, and they're so much cheaper.
They're brilliant, and they're scintillating, and now they're affordable.
So what's the catch? Are they too good to be true? The new diamond. Today on CBS 2 News at 5.
First, we opened the legendary Golden Nugget in Atlantic City. Now we're open all over New Jersey with GoldenNuggetCasino.com. Go ahead, hit 3 cherries in Cherry Hill, play blackjack in Blackwood, and bet on Red and Red Bank. It's all the action of our AC Casino at the Marina. Come and play slots, blackjack, roulette, and more here or on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Play online and get up to a $300 welcome bonus. GoldenNuggetCasino.com, where Jersey plays.
Attention New York residents on Medicare. If you're concerned about the rising cost of health insurance, here's some encouraging news. Base rates on all currently available AARP Medicare supplement insurance plans insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company will not increase in 2015. As you know, Medicare doesn't cover everything, only about 80% of your Part B medical expenses. Like all Medicare supplement plans, an AARP Medicare supplement plan helps cover some of what Medicare doesn't pay and can really save you in out-of-pocket medical costs. So call today for your free decision guide and learn more about how an AARP Medicare supplement plan can go long for you. Here's some more good news. Medicare supplement plans have no networks. So with these types of plans, you'll be able to visit any doctor or hospital that accepts Medicare patients. AARP Medicare supplement plans are competitively priced, and there's a wide range to choose from. At United Healthcare Insurance Company, we know you're concerned about the rising cost of health insurance, and we're continuing to do what we can. On average, base rates in New York have increased less than 3% a year over the last 5 years. And remember, for 2015, base rates on all currently available AARP Medicare supplement plans will not increase at all. Medicare supplement insurance helps cover some of what Medicare doesn't pay, expenses that can really add up. These plans can save you in out-of-pocket medical costs, and you'll be able to choose any doctor who accepts Medicare patients. So New York residents, if you're considering an AARP Medicare supplement plan, don't wait. Call now to request your free decision guide and find the plan that works for you. From United Healthcare Insurance Company, the company with the experience to be here for you now and down the road. Go long.
Victor reproved me for gaining weight and said that he would no longer have sex with me until I had lost the weight. When he told me that, I felt very ugly and unwanted. It made me feel very bad about myself. At that time, I wanted God and Victor to be pleased with me.
Well, that was Lindsay talking about how alleged cult leader Victor Bernard punished her for gaining weight. Now, Lindsay's father, Carmen, says he believed it was a blessing, a privilege for his then 13-year-old daughter to be one of the alleged cult leader's maidens, to serve him as a representative of Christ in the flesh. And he had no idea that she was being abused.
Victor presented himself as someone who was to be the man of God to the church. Many people that followed him started calling him an apostle. The maidens were these young girls in service to the church, and in serving him was considered service to the church. Lindsay was at the time 13 years old and one of the youngest. That was considered a privilege for her and for us to do that and partake of this program. Through those years, we would see Lindsay at least once a week. She seemed very happy. I had no indication that she was in danger at all. First time I realized that something wasn't right was when he called my wife and I in, talked about a scripture that he had in the Bible concerning the women that were unmarried, and if they wanted to have sexual relations with someone, that he would have the responsibility of taking care of that. It was not easy for me to go up against Victor, and I felt like almost like I couldn't do anything, almost in bondage. A fearful thing came over me. Lindsay lived under Victor's counsel and direction for 9 years. My relationship with Lindsay right now is very strained. She probably has an issue with me, or how that manipulation really gets to a person. That's what it did to me.
Well, the first time Carmen and Lindsay have seen each other in a year is right now. So how do you feel seeing your daughter right now?
Right now, Dr. Phil, I feel overwhelmed. It's been a year since we've seen each other, and during that time, there's not a day goes by that I don't count the cost of realizing that I take my full accountability and responsibility for what had taken place.
But you really don't, because you tell her that you didn't know what was going on at the time, right?
Correct.
And you don't believe that.
How could you not know? You and Mom took salt when you guys got married, and you saw Victor taking salt with me, with a veil over my head, with a ring on my ring finger that he had given me. And he did a teaching that said that the 10 of us are more than concubines. And then the meeting that he had asked, that he said that he may or may not have sex with me. I was only 14. How could you not know?
During that meeting, he told us, he went through Scripture, and he tried to prove through Scripture that he would have responsibility of fulfilling this action if later on later on in your life, if you still wanted to be unmarried and serve in the church, that he would have that responsibility. And I disagreed with him, if you remember that. And I did not give a blessing or an okay.
So then why did you just leave me there?
I felt like I was manipulated into his power. And then he told me, Carmen, I am not saying that this is going to happen. And therefore thinking in retrospect, there again is his deception for loyalty.
What I remember from the meeting is Victor saying he may or may not have sex with me. And no, even if you did disagree with him, you didn't do your job as a father. You abandoned me, you left me there for all those years. You saw me humiliated and kicked out of meetings in front of the whole church. I don't understand why you keep saying you didn't know what happened, and the way your family has treated me has been so awful. People telling me I need to stop playing the victim and become a survivor, and I know I still have a lot to grow, but I am a survivor.
I had asked you years ago for forgiveness, and you told me that you don't know if you could forgive me.
But you still don't own this till today, though, do you? I listened to everything that you've said, and you said, look, people don't get it. If you haven't been under mind control, if you haven't had somebody isolate you and take control of your mind and tell you that you have to do this or you're not being faithful to God, then you can't understand this. Let me tell you, I understand mind control. I get what you're saying. And you cannot abdicate your role as a father. And you cannot tell me that you became so blind that you let someone distort the Scripture so badly that it made sense to you to turn your 13-year-old child over to this creep?
I didn't know all those other things were happening.
You really thought if he was bringing it up then that he would wait till I was legal? It makes no sense.
And later, if some guy comes up to me and says, hey, Christ in the flesh here.
To me, it's not a laughing matter, and it is absurd.
It is absurd. It is a laughing matter because it is so absurd, it's ridiculous.
I'm Maurice Dubois at 5. Rain and snow in the forecast to make a mess for your holiday getaway. From the roads to the airports, what you need to know about getting around. Also, the fury in Ferguson today, the violent reaction to the decision in the Michael Brown case, the disturbing discovery customs officers made inside a wine shipment at the Port of New York, plus new numbers coming to menus across the country. Will it help us lose weight? And toxic toys, the gifts you do not want under your tree this year. It's all here, CBS 2 at 5.
Sleepy's Black Friday deals are red hot. From 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. on Black Friday, get incredible doorbusters with our lowest prices ever on select queen sets, only $79. A free adjustable base with select models and more. Plus, deals continue all day Friday and Saturday with half off nearly every mattress in the store. Get a free box spring with select models and free delivery on everything. Don't miss Black Friday deals at Sleepy's, the only mattress professionals.
50th anniversary Hess Toy Truck. In-store or online at HessToyTruck.com with free shipping. It's a 3-in-1. Truck, Space Cruiser, and Scout. Plus 6 Energizer batteries for just $29.99.
Celebrate 50 years. The Hess House here.
Happy holidays from Hess.
Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield wants to know, what's your health insurance IQ?
True or false? Anyone can sign up for health coverage any time of year.
True.
Sorry, most people can only sign up for health insurance once a year during the open enrollment period. Whether you're switching or signing up for the first time, you are required by law to have health coverage.
True.
Yep. Most people were required to have health coverage starting in 2014.
Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield can help protect your family's health with one easy call to learn more about health coverage and find out if you're eligible for financial help.
Did you know all their plans cover doctor visits, prescription drugs, hospital stays, and more?
Yes, with $0 preventive care to help keep me healthy.
So call now for a free quote. There's less time to enroll this year, so make sure your new coverage is in place before the deadline. Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call us at 1-866-775-3246 for a free quote. That's 1-866-775-3246.
I want to look at some of the email exchanges you've had, because I think it says a lot. You've written to her. You have reached out. You said, "Dear Lindsay, I respect your request for needing time and space, but in my heart, I just needed to write you. I take full responsibility for having you and our family in the dangerous situations and atmosphere that we were in, and particularly you. I failed to walk away with you clutched to my arm, not only in that first meeting where VB made those preposterous and devilish suggestions and questions. I spoke the truth to you when I told you that I did not know that those things were taking place with you, and I did not give my blessings." I'm hearing him talk out of both sides of his mouth there.
You totally contradict yourself.
I spoke the truth when I told you I did not know those things were taking, but I did not give my blessings. So you either turned her over or you didn't. What do you mean? All right, I give you my daughter, but not my blessings. You can have her, but I don't bless it. What the hell does that mean?
My perspective was that she was serving in the church. I didn't know all those other things were happening.
If somebody came to you and said, I was 14 at the time, at that time, you really thought if he was bringing it up then that he would wait till I was legal? It makes no sense. I
don't understand, because that's what he told me.
Well, let me tell you, if that's true, are you saying that that would be an arranged marriage? I'm just going to turn you over, and when the clock ticks 18, have at her?
No.
What the hell's that?
My biggest mistake was to trust the wrong man. And when he told me that I'm not saying that this is going to happen. Even after an age of 18 or so, I still didn't give a blessing, but all of her indications, all of her notes and things that were telling me that she was enjoying where she was.
She was a child.
Even in 18, 19, 20 years old, I was still getting these letters, and I don't understand that, if somebody, Lindsay, do you think for 1 minute, being as a father to you, that if I knew that you were getting abused or hurt in any way, that I wouldn't come and that would jar something in me? I know that it would. It would have.
It obviously didn't, because Victor made it clear what he was doing, and I have no idea why you can't.
But it didn't, because I looked at the excerpts from the probable cause statements with the police. Father said he felt that was wrong, but he felt pressured not to say anything against Bernard and didn't.
Right.
It says you felt that it was wrong. You knew it at the time. You say, looking back on it now, that he knew Bernard had sex with his daughter when she was a child.
I knew? I did not know that she had
That's what you told the police.
After Lindsay told me, I knew. I didn't know that he had sex with you before that.
It says, looking back on it now, that he knew Bernard had sex with his daughter when she was still a child. He said he did not know what he was thinking at the time, but just remembers always feeling so much pressure to not become an outcast and lose everything he had. So I knew he was having sex with my daughter, but I didn't want to be an outcast, and if the price to pay was her, then I would pay it. That's all that means to me.
I would never have done that. I would never have done that.
This is how you've treated me since I left. The night before I had the meeting with the FBI, you called me and you said, I don't know what you're telling people, but I'm losing friends over this. Like, you're more concerned about your reputation than what I went through. And you would say that you're the loneliest man on the earth and you feel like your family has left you, when I didn't have any of you guys around when I was 13. And I'd see you maybe once a month at a big church meeting, but I always had to have a chaperone with me. We were never allowed to speak alone. I mean, you said I seemed happy, but how did you really know? You weren't in my life. You didn't know that one summer I had one skirt and 2 t-shirts to wear all summer long. That in the winter my boots had holes in them, so I had to put newspapers in them so my feet would stay dry.
Honey, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
But isn't it your job to know?
Yes, it is my job to know.
Isn't it your job to know? You don't turn that over to the church. You don't turn that over. Some guy comes and tells you he's Christ in the flesh, and you say, oh, well, okay, here's my daughter. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. My daughter's not worth being an outcast.
No. When I spoke to the official, when I spoke to the sheriff, that was after Lindsay told me what happened. And then I knew what was happening because she told me. I didn't know before that, and I'm telling you, I didn't know. If I would have known, I would have pulled you out immediately. It would have jarred me into some sense, some thinking.
I don't understand how you couldn't have known.
And I didn't understand what happened either then.
All right, well, let's take a break. Lindsay refused her father's invitation to move into his home with a very clear, back the hell off. We're going to talk more about that when we come back.
When I finally told my parents that Victor had sexually abused me for those 9 years, I remember asking my dad if he remembered the meeting that Victor had when he asked for their blessing, and he said he did remember it. It made me very angry inside that he never said that he was sorry for letting all that happen to me.
Closed captioning provided by
JCPenney's Black Friday sale starts 5 p.m. Thursday. Get here early for thousands of doorbusters like $9.99 kitchen electrics, $2.99 towels, $4.99 Disney mini plush, and $9.99 men's dress shirts. Starts 5 p.m. Thursday. JCPenney. When it fits, you feel it.
Looking for a cold sore product that works differently? Then try Oragel Single Dose. The patented cold sore treatment penetrates and helps relieve pain on contact. Oragel Single Dose Cold Sore Treatment. Serious relief for serious cold sores.
Shop, it's never been easier for you to shop smart. Discover low prices on the items you buy most. Save on thousands of items every week with new bonus buy savings. And with gas rewards, you save big at the pump. You'll love how your savings stack up. Only at Stop & Shop. This week, get fresh Stop & Shop Grade A turkeys for 99 cents per pound and 27-ounce Mrs. Smith's pies for $1.99 each.
Friend of the cheerleader of what I'm coming for. If I smell it, the 16 is smoking. Because I started smoking when I was a teenager.
You can quit. Talk with your doctor. For more help, call 1-866-NY-QUITS.
It's Jennifer Convertible's Black Friday sale. Shop early and save hundreds. Doors open at 7. For 3 days only, take 36% off the entire store. Plus, no interest for 36 months. Don't miss the biggest sale of the year at Jennifer Convertibles.
Flemington Furs chairman Sid Benjamin announced his retirement. And now we're offering in-season savings like never before. Savings of up to 50% store-wide during our Never Before, Never Again sale. Flemington Furs, Flemington, New Jersey.
I opted in.
I opted in. I opted into value with the Optimum Triple Play for just
$84.95 a month.
Opt out of having to pay for internet at home and data on the go.
Opt in to using data anywhere with over 1 million Optimum Wi-Fi hotspots.
Optimum gives you internet at home and on the go for one price, lowering your monthly wireless bill.
Opt out of missing your favorite shows.
Opt in to watching whatever I want, whenever I want.
The multi-room DVR lets you record up to 15 shows at once, free for 1 year.
Opt out of being stuck on the couch. Opt in to internet you can connect to anywhere.
Get a fast, secure connection on all devices at the same time anywhere at home with a free smart router from Optimum. And get a speed upgrade free for 6 months.
I opted into Optimum.
Call 866-200-9918 today and opt into value with the Optimum Triple Play. Just $84.95 a month, guaranteed for 2 years with no contracts. Opt into Optimum. Call today.
They say diamonds are a girl's best friend, but would you buy one that was made in a lab? Beautiful diamonds, perfect cuts, stunning colors, and they're so much cheaper. So what's the catch? The new diamond, today on CBS 2 News at 5.
I consider what Victor did to me rape and molestation. From the times that I saw Victor and my dad together, it was pleasant. They seemed like they were friends. Even after my father knew what was happening to me, he did not fight for me and did not get angry at Victor for abusing me. I felt abandoned. I felt mad at my dad for leaving me there.
That was Lindsay talking about how her father, Carmen, allowed her to be abused by alleged cult leader Victor Bernard, who has been charged with 59 felony counts involving criminal sexual conduct and is currently evading law enforcement. They're looking for him. But Carmen says his daughter always talked about how happy and blessed she was to be living with Victor at Shepherd's Camp. So he says, look, the only input I had was from her, and she was saying everything is fine, so I had no idea. I had nothing to react to, right?
Correct.
And in fact, one of the things you said was, how could I help when there were no signs of a problem? That's your quote. How could I help when there were no signs of a problem? Well, so I made a list of what I thought were red flags that I thought would jump out to anyone. Number one, it was all about him. He described himself as Christ in the flesh.
Correct.
Is that not, you know, if some guy comes up to me and says, hey, Christ in the flesh here.
To me, it's not a laughing matter, and it is absurd.
It is absurd. It is a laughing matter because it is so absurd, it's ridiculous. When somebody says that to me, it's like, really? Really? You're Christ in the flesh. You're Christ in the flesh. That to me, wouldn't that be, it's
absurd.
Okay, you saw Christ in the flesh spit in people's faces.
We were all at meals together. You saw him spit in people's faces.
80 people at a meal. He would get up. People were not doing what he wanted them to do. He would get mad and spit in their faces. You're telling me you never saw that?
I don't remember ever seeing him spit in anybody's face. I don't.
Yes, he did.
He made radical interpretations of scriptures that you knew well.
Right.
Bring me your firstborn daughters. Exodus 13:2. Don't say that. That talks about the sons of the Israelites. It doesn't talk about, it's the first from the womb. Sons, animals. It doesn't talk about bring me your daughters. That's not a red flag to you? That's a distortion of what it says?
It is a red flag, and it was distorted, and I felt manipulated into believing him.
He managed by intimidation and ultimatum. You knew that, correct?
Yes.
Give me your daughters. 10 maidens to go with me. 10 maidens. He threatened banishment for failure to comply. Right? You do what I tell you or you're out. Right?
Right.
Your gut told you not to give your daughter over to be a maiden.
I felt like I was just blinded.
Did he say to you at one point, and this is a quote that you gave us, she isn't your little girl anymore?
He did. You know how many times I wanted to pull you out of there in my right mind thinking, I don't belong here. How many times I voiced to leave that place through all those 10 or 11 years, and I had not one backup from Lindsay, and you were there at those meetings, so I wanted to leave and go home.
Dad, I was a child. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going to happen to me. You and Mom allowed it to happen.
And when you were even 18 and 19 and 20 years old, into your 20s, you didn't know it was happening? And nobody had anything to come to me with.
Are you trying to blame me?
I'm not blaming you on anything.
Well, that's what it sounds like. That's what it feels like. It always feels like you're trying to blame me for what happened.
I'm being blamed right now. I'm being blamed, and I take the responsibility for what happened and putting my family in that situation, and I take the accountability for that.
Let me tell you something. You are giving her a message of blame, and I'm apparently giving you one, and I don't intend to, because there's a difference between blame and responsibility.
Okay.
Blame implies intent. And Carmen, I do not believe that you ever had a bad intent. To be responsible, you only have to have taken or failed to take necessary action. And that is what applies to you. You are responsible for abandoning your daughter to this creep. And this child is a 100% victim. Now, we're going to add somebody to this conversation in a minute. There's actually a co-founder of this fellowship, River Road Fellowship. He's here. We're going to find out what he says he witnessed that made him wonder if Victor Bernard was sexually involved with his maidens. We'll be right back.
Victor is very charismatic. He always initially comes across as very caring. There was definitely affection displayed with the maidens. As time went on and they got older, more and more.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. Caught in a love triangle.
Do you feel guilt for cheating on your wife?
I don't consider it cheating. What's so funny?
They're laughing because your self-serving bull is more than they can take.
That's tomorrow.
Closed captioning provided by
Sandpaper Skin. New Curel Rough Skin Rescue with Olive Oil gently exfoliates rough, flaky skin for deep hydration and soothing relief. Curel.
Soda. Download now.
This holiday season, while you're shopping, burglars could be planning. Burglars don't take time off for the holidays. A burglary occurs every 15 seconds. But now, ADT brings you this special limited time offer. Free installation. That's right. Call now, 800-ADT-ASAP, and get free installation on ADT Pulse Remote with 24/7 fast response monitoring. Hurry, free installation ends soon. ADT, always there.
I'm Maurice Dubois at 5. A winter storm taking aim at the tri-state area on one of the busiest travel days of the year. What you need to know. Plus gunshots, tear gas, fires, the aftermath of that violent night in Ferguson. Standing her ground, how a Long Island woman fought off a purse thief. Plus, who's watching you while you shop, how stores are keeping track of customers and what they're buying. And Bargain Bling, the new process that could make diamonds more affordable. It's all here. CBS 2 at 5. We'll see you then.
Your Honor, can I say something?
No. Listen, you lied to me. Out. Out.
Next, Judge Judy.
Your wife's not here anymore. You don't have to be afraid of her.
Coming up next, only on CBS 2.
It's Empire Today's biggest sale. 50% off carpet and flooring, 50% off padding and materials, and 50% off installation.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
Victor abused me from 13 until I was 22. Everything that he did was terrible. Victor is currently on the run, and I hope he pays for what he did to me. I cannot wait for Victor to get what he deserves.
The co-founder of River Road Fellowship, David, says he began to question whether alleged cult leader Victor Bernard was having sexual relationships with his 10 maidens after he witnessed Victor's outward expressions of affection towards them.
My name is David, and I used to be friends with Victor Bernard. Victor is very charismatic. He always initially comes across as very caring. The original intent and what was shared about the maidens was not to serve Victor, but the practical taking care of the camp. There was definitely affection displayed with the maidens. As time went on, as they got older, more and more. And it was about him trying to take a role of like more of a husband. It came to my attention and a number of other people's attention that Victor had been sleeping with some married women. I wrote a letter and confronted him over multiple things, including that. One of the things that I stipulated in the letter that his relationship with the maidens was completely wrong. I came to the point that he was actually a sexual prowler and that he basically was trying to sleep with every woman in the ministry. Today, I consider Victor Bernard an extremely evil man, a pedophile, sexual prowler, and one of the most disgusting individuals I've ever known. Victor deserves to be brought to justice and spend the rest of his life in prison.
Well, David is here. You thought, okay, so this isn't Christ in the flesh. This guy's doing things that are corrupting the spirituality of this whole fellowship here. And so then you have to look and say, oh my God, he has these 10, some of them children, living with him. So at that point, why not call the authorities?
When I sit and hear Lindsay's story and all the things that took place, there's probably 75 to 90% of it that I had even zero recollection about. Like even when the way, to me, how this whole Maidens developed, there was, the older ones were 16, 17, 18 years old when it started to develop as a group. It clearly appeared that they were pursuing that they were wanting to basically remain unmarried. Then younger ones wanted to kind of follow suit, and it was all being initiated by them. And when they first came in, quote, as a group, they were there for a few months, kind of like almost a summer camp. It was never a permanent thing. I didn't even personally even know anything about, quote, assault covenant. So a lot of the things didn't seem at all like they really were.
So what do you think about Victor at this point?
He is one of the most evil, disgusting, perverted people I've ever come in contact with.
You think he should be tracked down and prosecuted?
Oh, that's what I've been fighting for 5 years.
Now, when you decided to do the show, you told us that David started to contact you.
That's correct.
And you were uncomfortable with that.
Right.
She told us you were calling her. We asked you not to contact her further.
Well, nobody told me that. In fact, if there's anything, I was asked the question, have you talked to her? And that was the main reason why I even was checking.
Why were you calling her?
I didn't even know what the show was about, so I wanted to actually just see how she was doing and try to get a little bit more clear about what really was going to happen.
You knew what the show was about.
Well, I didn't know specifically that Carmen Maiden was going to be here. Nobody told me, so I had no idea.
I'm being a little protective and a little careful here because of her experience before and your history before. And this is Amy Jo and the producer and Letitia. So Letitia, there's some question here about what took place. And I want this young lady to have straight information from us for sure. So what took place?
Absolutely. We were informed that David was contacting her. And when I communicated with David, I let him know, first off, why are you contacting Lindsay? And there is no need to contact Lindsay. If he has any questions, to give me a call. And after that, he said he wanted to reach out to her to see what she was going to say. They were going to communicate. And I said there is no need. There is absolutely no need to communicate with her, that I will be the communication process.
I'm just wanting to be sure that we're not, again, giving her muddled, confused messages in any way. Of you saying one thing and you saying something else.
I feel so bad right now. From the time that I was communicated with on Friday about coming out here, for me, I thought I made that very clear with Letitia, that it had one main purpose, was to support Lindsay.
You did mention that your intent was to help. And you mentioned to me that you were one of the ones who helped kind of push forward the movement of connecting with law enforcement, and that you were a voice to help. And I did say thank you to that.
Yeah, and law enforcement has said as much as well, that you've pushed this forward with regard to Victor. And you really don't want to have contact.
It's difficult for me to have any contact with the adults from Minnesota because it brings up abandonment issues, why nobody said anything.
You will respect the fact that...
absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a break. Is anyone besides Victor liable in this situation? We're going to talk about that when we come back.
The State Patrol believes it has a strong tip that might lead them to an alleged cult leader, 52-year-old Victor Barnard, who reportedly kept a group of girls as concubines.
Victor is the bad guy. I have been made to feel by friends and even relatives that I'm the bad guy, and I feel like I'm just getting beat up. I can take it. I don't have a reputation to uphold, except that I'm God's kid and Lindsay's father.
Shark gets more 5-star online reviews than any other vacuum brand. Independent lab tests prove that Shark's new powered lift-away deep cleans carpets better than a $600 Dyson. So,
get a Shark
and go where no vacuum has gone before.
Take the Jergens Challenge. Now meet the new reformulated Jergens Ultra Healing. Goes beyond healthy looking to your most beautiful skin yet. In 1 week. Guaranteed. Our best Jergens, your best skin.
People with type 2 diabetes come from all walks of life. If you have high blood sugar, ask your doctor about Farxiga. It's a different kind of medicine that works by removing some sugar from your body. Along with diet and exercise, Farxiga helps lower blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes. With 1 pill a day, Farxiga helps lower your A1C. And although it's not a weight loss or blood pressure drug, Farxiga may help you lose weight and may even lower blood pressure when used with certain diabetes medicines. Do not take if allergic to Farxiga or its ingredients. Symptoms of a serious allergic reaction include rash, swelling, or difficulty breathing or swallowing. If you have any of these symptoms, stop taking Farxiga and seek medical help right away. Do not take Farxiga if you have severe kidney problems, are on dialysis, or have bladder cancer. Tell your doctor right away if you have blood or red color in your urine or pain while you urinate. Farxiga can cause serious side effects including dehydration, genital yeast infections in women and men, low blood sugar, kidney problems, and increased bad cholesterol. Common side effects include urinary tract infections, changes in urination, and runny nose. Need to lower your blood sugar? Ask your doctor about Farxiga. And visit our website to learn how you may be able to get every month free.
Italian Pinot Grigio wines are government classified. The highest class is Denominazione di Origine Controllata. Officially, that makes San Giuseppe one of Italy's best Pinot Grigio. Now taste the difference. San Giuseppe is richer, more flavorful, and better priced than other high-class Pinot Grigio. That's why wine lovers look smart when they look for the lily on the label.
Look for the lily on the label. Ah, San Giuseppe.
Mattress not comfy?
Get off the couch and get into your mattress destination at Raymore & Flanigan.
We have the largest selection of mattresses in the Northeast at the guaranteed lowest prices.
Guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
Stop in today. You can save $250 on Stearns & Foster, up to $500 on Beauty Rest Black.
With free financing, next day delivery, set up an old mattress removal.
Get the mattress you deserve.
Make Raymore & Flanigan your mattress destination.
This Thanksgiving, flights are grounded, and an agent's husband, the elusive Jake, lands in the middle of a mystery.
Terrorist chatter. Subject is U.S. airports.
Just when I thought things couldn't get any more interesting.
You have no idea.
New NCIS. Then, before TV's #1 new show gives thanks,
cheers,
they'll do whatever it takes to heat up a cold case.
What stories will you tell? When the dead have something to say, not even time will shut them off.
New NCIS New Orleans after NCIS tonight.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL.
I still have nightmares every night with Victor. I have flashbacks often of Minnesota and what happened there. I could see a mom and a girl walking down the street and feel upset and angry and sad all at the same time. I would like Dr. Phil to help me to learn how to become at peace with what happened to me and that my nightmares would stop.
There are charges and allegations against Victor Bernard. I want to talk to CNN legal analyst Sonny Hostin, who's a good friend of mine and a good friend of the show here. Sonny, first, it's good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm well, Dr. Phil. Thank you so much for having me, as always, especially on this, such an important issue. You know, I know you're not in the blame game, in the blame business, Dr. Phil, but I am in the blame business, because as a lawyer and as a prosecutor, that's what I do, right? I look for blame, I look for responsibility. Carmen, even if you didn't know, the law provides that as her father, you should have known. And sir, you certainly should have. You used your daughter as currency to become a member of that church. You made a deal with the devil, and that is a horrible, horrible crime.
Lindsay, that's the way you feel, right?
Yes, that's exactly the way I feel.
And Lindsay, you're right. And I want to say this to you, Lindsay, because I've worked with so many survivors of child sex abuse. And I want to call you a survivor, a victor, because that is what you are. You are so great to have gone to the police with your story, to be here today sharing your story with all of us. And in doing so, you are protecting so many children. You have no idea. And I applaud you for being the brave woman that you have
become. And let's talk about Victor for a minute. This man has one count of first-degree sexual conduct with a person under 13 years of age, 45 counts of felony first-degree criminal sexual conduct by a person in a position of authority with a person between the ages of 13 and 15, and 13 counts of felony third-degree criminal sexual conduct by a member or purported member of the clergy. These are serious charges. Sonny, if he gets captured and prosecuted for these charges, what kind of time is he looking at?
There's 59 counts here. Many of the counts carry a prison term of 30 years in prison per count. And let's remember, Dr. Phil, this is only for his abuse of Lindsay and one other girl. So if he gets prosecuted, he's never going to see the light of day.
Okay. All right. Sonny, thank you, and stay with us. Carmen says he wants my advice on how he and Lindsay can heal this relationship and be a family again. I want to know what Lindsay has to say about that. We'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by...
Don't hide. Hide your cold sore while you treat it. New Carmex Cold Sore Treatment blocks pain and itch while making your cold sore less noticeable. Get your coupon now.
Don't take painful sex lying down. Osphena can help. For significant relief of painful sex due to menopause, Osphena is an oral pill that actually rebuilds the specific vaginal tissue that causes the pain. Lubricants can't do that. And Osphena is not an estrogen. Sex after menopause? It shouldn't have to hurt. Don't use Osphena if you've had unusual vaginal bleeding, breast or uterine cancer, blood clots, stroke or heart attack, liver problems, or are pregnant. Osphena may increase your risk for uterine cancer, strokes, or blood clots. So talk to your doctor regularly about continuing Osphena. Call your doctor right away if you have unusual vaginal bleeding, changes in vision or speech, sudden severe headache, leg or chest pain, or shortness of breath. Is painful sex after menopause affecting you? Talk to your partner and ask your doctor about Osphena today. Why wait?
Today at 5, messy weather for one of the busiest travel days of the year. Lonnie Quinn tracking snow and rain, how it could impact Thanksgiving travel plans. Then students on edge, what's happening now after a violent attack on a New Jersey college campus. Plus from vending machines to movie theaters. Why you're about to learn much more about the foods you eat. Today at 5.
Sleepy's Black Friday deals are red hot. From 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. on Black Friday, get our lowest prices ever on Beauty Rest Queen sets for just $289. Get up to a $300 gift card with any Tempur-Pedic and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable sets. Plus, deals continue all day Friday and Saturday with half off nearly every mattress in the store and free delivery on everything. Don't miss Black Friday deals at Sleepy's, the only mattress professionals.
My father left Cuba to build a better life for me and my family. Even though I'm the first in my family to go to college, not going was never an option. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but hard work runs in the family. People ask me, why Mercy? I tell them, any school can promise success. Mercy taught me how to make it happen. I'm Christian Perez, Mercy College class of 2015, and now a Wall Street analyst.
See more of Christian's story at mercy.edu.
When news breaks, expect more from CBS 2. More reporters, more details, more coverage. When it comes to breaking news, no one beats CBS 2.
Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
So my Twitter followers are having a heated discussion about this topic. Mad J's mom says there is so much denial by so many who need to step up. This poor girl has more strength than these men put together. Sherry Lee Adams says these adults would do well to pray for the victims and forgiveness for not stopping it. Angelina says any adult who insists to be alone with a child is a red flag in and of itself. Now, what do you want?
Right now, I would like my dad to give me my space. I would like to learn how to eventually be at peace with knowing what my parents did to me. At this point in my life, I don't want you in it.
I want you to allow us to make a gift to you of bringing that help to you, to give you the clarity and the strength that you need to do the things that you need to do, just as our gift to you.
Thank you.
Allow us to do that for you. Will you let us do that for you?
Yes, thank you so much.
We very much want to do that for you. And Carmen, I strongly suggest that you allow us the time and space to bring your daughter this help, because as she grows stronger and has a better grip on who she is, her chance to find the strength to forgive and redefine a relationship with you is just going to go greater. And I'm going to also offer you some help here, because I believe that at this point you are not being authentic with yourself about what your ownership in this situation has been. And if I get you that help, will you take that help?
Absolutely.
I mean, you need help in doing that, and I will do that. And Sonny, you've worked so much with these kind of victims, and you have seen them, women with much less ego strength than we're seeing from Lindsay right now, climb up from the ashes and stand on their own 2 feet. People do get better from this, correct?
No question about it. And again, I mean, Lindsay is so remarkable. She is the type of person that will be victorious in this kind of challenge.
I thank you. Anyone with information regarding Victor Bernard should call the U.S. Marshals Communications Center at 1-800-336-0102. I want to thank all of my guests today. A special thanks to CNN analyst and host Sonny Hostin. I really appreciate you, Sonny, for being here. Log on to drphil.com. Share your thoughts on our message boards. You can always find me on Facebook or Twitter using hashtag Dr. Phil, hashtag Facing the Past. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Let me get her some help with this, and you as well, Connie. Okay? David?